Recently on TCC News Around this time last month, we talked all about the August Proving Ground competitors, and that video got quite a bit of buzz from Battlebots fans, and even some new fans of the sport. So we're back here once again talking about 5 new robots entering the Battlebox for the first time ever, right here, right now on the Combot Collective. It's time for the September Proving Grounds preview featuring robots like Swamp Thing, like Fireball, and numerous other robots. Here we go. Let's start talking robot combat.
Oh my God! Wow! This is the biggest flame we've ever seen.
Has preserved enough energy to get in the flip on Carbine. We're gonna go all the way. Oh my God! That's gonna hurt. Grab the milk, Kenny.
Welcome to the Combot Collective.
Hello everybody and welcome to another news episode here at the Combot Collective. 2 in 1 week. Here we go, people. I am your host, as always, Sterling Brown, bringing everything you want to know from the world of robot combat, from the heavyweight class to the fleetweight class, from Battlebots to the live circuit. And we were talking about the live circuit in our last news video, talking about the big event happening in Russia. But now let's go back to the Battlebox once again this month. It is our September Proving Grounds preview. Like I mentioned at the top of the video, it did pretty good, our August Proving Grounds video. People want to know about the new robots entering the Battlebox every single month. And here at the Combot Collective, we are happy to oblige, happy to help you out with some info. As we got 4 robots, which in various different weight classes, from the 1-pound class to the 250-pound class. A lot of robots which have fought in the past under prior weight classes, prior forms. And now they're bringing it to the Battlebox, to the full 250-pound dance. Very excited to see how all these robots go. A lot of these machines from veteran teams, Team BNS Robotics, Seems Reasonable Robotics, Russ Robotics. We're going to be talking about all this, but of course, as we always do at the top of episodes here on the Combot Collective, I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. We are sponsored by robotsruinmylife.com. They are the merchandise provider for numerous robot combat teams on the East Coast and Battlebots teams as well. We talk about them all the time. Shredder Bro, Starchild, Ripperoni, the fan favorite, Rookie of the Year most likely, Ripperoni. All those robots have plenty of merchandise you can find on robotsruinmylife.com, from their poker chips to their pizza boxes to their t-shirts to even some nice bomber jackets. Get yourself some prints, get yourself something. And if you're a hardcore fan, they also have NHRL merchandise for numerous robots on Team Shredder Bro, on the Omega team, and on other teams as well. I always bring up Milk Tank merchandise. I love Milk Tank. You can get Milk Tank merchandise on this website. You can get NHRL website. You can usually only get the venue itself or on NHRL.io. You can even get some Robots Ruin My Life lifestyle merchandise such as t-shirts, tote bags, stickers, all with the Robots Ruin My Life logo on it. All this and more on our friends at robotsruinmylife.com. Find their link in the description below. But now let's jump into it. 5 robots up to talk about here, entering a new month of Battlebots Proving Grounds in Las Vegas. Keep in mind, with all 5 of these exciting fighters, it's always subject to change without reason. Any of these machines could be replaced by overkill on a moment's notice at these events due to damages or due to travel issues. That's just how the sport goes, sadly. But let's go ahead and jump into this now with that September 9th to 10th weekend featuring newcomers and veterans alike. We just talked about them right here. It's going to be an electric post-Labor Day weekend at Proving Grounds, most specifically for the highly regarded BNS Robotics, who not only have their signature heavyweight Bloodsport debuting some new tech over the weekend versus the 2021 top 16 member jackpot, but more excitingly, here's the one we're here to talk about. Their second attempt at a number 2 heavyweight to add to their ranks with Fireball, captained by Brian Boxall. Fireball is a flame-throwing 250-pound upscaling of Brian's 3-pound four-wheel drive vertical spinner of the same design and name, which in itself is a sequel to Brian's prior beetleweight, Eruption, which for over 2 years sat as one of NHRL's top robots in that weight class. The thing that separates both versions of Fireball, though, from its championship-winning counterpart is one key feature: the internal flywheel. This internal flywheel works similarly to Ripperoni's, the robot which originated the concept, but sits in a much different spot smack dab in the middle of the robot, like a fifth wheel in the machine almost, except it is elevated slightly and positioned right behind the main vertical spinner for a fixated effect. One thing to look out for with this meta monster is, despite its serious acclaim Eruption has made for itself at NHRL with a 44-25 record, Fireball in its 3-pound form has yet to really follow that burning trail its elder sibling left behind. Fireball only holds a number 118 rank in NHRL's Beetleweight division with a 4-2 record overall at 2 events, and in that first event it had of the 2, we saw Fireball only go a mediocre 1-1. Now, Fireball did pick it up at NHRL's most recent event with a 3-1 finish, but this new 250-pound version of the robot will likely go through just as many, if not even more, first robot gremlins than its 3-pound counterpart. This internal youth may be something that the twins can seriously capitalize on. We'll have to see what happens. But another fun note, we saw Orbitron sponsored by Warframe of all companies. That's an awesome sponsorship. But on this end, we have Fireball with its own fun sponsor in Wormwood Gaming, a game room furniture company which recently has posted a couple of blog videos showcasing themselves and the drive power of Fireball on display. The link to these videos will be in the description, so if you want to learn more about BNS Robotics and this robot, check it out there. But yes, we're back to it here, the twins. After the RoboGame sign-up tease and numerous outings from its prototype version, the Twerps, another NHRL Beetleweight, Seems Reasonable Robotics' third heavyweight and first ever clusterbot, the twins, are finally set to take the Battlebox very soon to challenge Fireball. The twins are the second ever multibot to grace the Battlebots Proving Ground platform and the first to be made up of 2 robots constructed specifically for 2-on-1 action. The twins, like I mentioned, come from the mind of Aaron Hill and the rest of Seems Reasonable, and in a CAD recently revealed to everyone by Battlebox, it's essentially a pair of silver 4-wheel drive Combot clones rocking exposed wheels and the signature Seems Reasonable robotic eyes. The silver bodies on these identical 125-pounders are accented with some purple hues, but honestly, I gotta say, I'm a little anxious about how these 2 robots look. Outside the expressive eyes, the all-silver look really doesn't do a lot for me, and hopefully it's a placeholder for maybe purple bodies, I really don't know. And the exposed wheels and chains on 2 smaller robots really doesn't seem like a good idea. Seems like a mistake, but what do I know? The twins are prototyped by a pair of aforementioned 2-pound robots which make up the Beetleweight combo, the Twerps, but these robots do feature a couple of differences which the twins fail to boast. The Twerps, who are a career 1 and 2 at official NHRL events with a number 306 ranking, still gives off massive Cobalt vibes, but with a wider 2-wheel drive body where the wheels are fully covered with 1 large feeder wedge up front to bring opponents inward. Maybe due to the less than stellar record of the Twerps led to the changes we see on the twins. Only time will tell whenever we finally get our interview on Battlebot supporter to figure out what exactly is going on here with Seems Reasonable Designs and their new cluster bot. The team have promised a little bit of a glow up if the robot does eventually make it on TV, but will the twins make it that far to boast such a fresh coat of paint? Versus meta vertical spinners like Fireball, the Beetleweight Twerps had struggled against robots such as Jetlag, among others, but is expected to perform at a solid level here with a lot of hype behind it, something we can't guarantee with Fireball. If Fireball isn't firing on all cylinders, the likely very well driven twins duo should be able to really show what those dual vertical spinners are all about, but maybe not. We just watched 2 championship level middleweights in Catcog and Mortician struggle versus a fledgling heavyweight in Doom, despite minimal miscommunication between the drivers. Maybe the era of 2-way clusters has just finally passed? If the Twerps cannot put it together this coming weekend, the days may truly be numbered for 250-pound multibots. Gone to the wayside. I hate to see it, but we'll have to see what happens. Moving forward now, on the following weekend, on the 16th and 17th of September, we'll get a look at one of the original Proving Grounds newcomers. The 4-wheel drive vert Disarray will make its return to the arena for the first time since its 2-0 weekend versus Terra Dominator in May. The University of Arizona robot had a pretty easy challenge with the more so rudimentary machine as a debut challenger, but now it has to take on an upscaled version of a robot which very recently placed 3rd at Angry Vehicle competition in the 1-pound class, Taco Tuesday. That's right, we have our third straight upscale from a smaller class here to discuss. But unlike 3-pounders, Fireball, and the Twerps, the original Taco Tuesday has a little bit of hardware to go with it. This tasty terror is being built by YouTuber Carter Hurd, a roboteer best known for his past exploits with Crave Monster, another robot which upon first glance looks like a joke robot, but also had some serious success inside the arena. Let's discuss Taco Tuesday though. The original 1-pound version was a 2-wheel drive vertical spinner with a unique body which allowed the robot to act like the original Ivanhoe and even Kraken 2.0, a machine that was able to self-right from all angles without a stream mech thanks to its unique taco shell, kind of giving it that weeble wobble effect. Perhaps more interesting though would be its locomotion, a first for robot combat and a soon-to-be first for the heavyweight class. This unique form of locomotion, which some fans of the sport have labeled as T-drive, positions one of the wheels traditionally, straightforward up front, while the second wheel sits behind in a horizontal position. This allowed the robot to drive forward and turn in a drifting manner, and if this seems confusing, it 100% is. I honestly spent a day of the script writing for this video trying to explain the T-drive convincingly. And honestly, the best I can say is check out Carter Hurd's video on the robot's construction. No better source than the man himself, like the Wormwood video. We'll have that link in the description below. What we do know is that the drive system works, at least in the 1-pound class, and it will be implemented in the 250-pound version as well. But to have this drive setup operate, it needs to have the vertical spinner spinning to act as a gyroscopic force. So with that, the spinner which helped Taco Tuesday get third at AVC will also be appearing on the 250-pound version, with the spinner, according to Carter Hurd, said to take huge inspiration from Hypershock's vertical spinner concepts. It is a proven commodity, we'll see how it goes, but ultimately, a lot of things are going to need to go right for Taco Tuesday to score big on a robot which has proven itself, such as Disarray. This robot was meta, it was compact, and it was powerful in its outings against Terra Dominator. But one thing this robot could have over Disarray is the stream mech shell ability. Disarray, obviously, a robot which, as of right now, we know cannot self-right. But in turn, all these complex systems will need to work all the way through as well. I guess we're just going to have to see what happens with this new design. But finally, we close this episode off with a bit of a 2-for-1 entry here. 2 robots which are fighting on the same weekend from the same team, with loads of history and detail on one of these robots, while we have absolutely nothing pretty much on the other. On the weekend of September 23rd and 24th, one of my 3 favorite Battlebots active in the field right now, DFW's own Switchback, returns to the Vegas desert for a pair of duels against robots from an often discussed team on the Combot Collective, Team Russ Robotics, with Swamp Thing and a brand new robot, Hellfire. And since Swamp Thing challenges Switchback first on the 23rd, we'll start with the team's flagship robot here. Like I mentioned, if you've watched the Combot Collective a few times, you've likely heard us bring this robot up before in the past. We've discussed Rick Ross splitting off with Hardcore Robotics and taking back Swamp Thing from the team. We've seen its ankle biter-esque modifications and its hopes to compete in Battlebots, but were unfortunately flanked due to injuries. But most recently, for Russ Robotics, we've sadly seen Swamp Thing underdeliver at RoboGames, most thanks to that dastardly arena wall. In RoboGames 2023, Swamp Thing would go 0-2 after a pair of losses via wall TKO, the first happening on day 1 versus Raging Scotsman, and then elimination on day 2 versus none other than Stink Eye, Hardcore Robotics' newest heavyweight robot, which, funny enough, also a 2-wheel drive vertical spinner. It was a frustrating event for Swamp Thing, and not only did it lose via TKO in both fights, but never once really had a quality chance to strike with its new gut-ripping vertical spinner weapon. Now I could say this is what they get for ditching the tail, but I won't. RoboGames Arena has been infamous for these incidents in the past, and the Battlebox, outside of a few tough moments, has been pretty fantastic when it comes to avoiding these wall tangling incidents. This will be a Swamp Thing which has had 5 months of prep time to change itself for the better inside the Battlebox, but it has no slouch of a challenger in Switchback, a playoff level robot. If there's one advantage Swamp Thing has on Switchback, it's the recency the team has in terms of last being inside the arena. Like I mentioned, it's been 5 months since Swamp Thing fought in a competition, and we're pushing a year since Switchback fought inside the Battlebox. We'll just have to see, you know, where these X Factors play out best. I'm cheering for Switchback, but I really do hope Swamp Thing can put up a good outing because it only has one day to impress. So every second inside the box matters, and the same goes for Russ Robotics' September 24th machine, Hellfire. Now, unlike Swamp Thing, as I mentioned, we know little to nothing about Hellfire. In what seems to be quite a fiery month for Proving Ground, with Fireball also competing. We talked about them earlier. But here's what we do know about Hellfire. It's going to be a two-wheel drive horizontal spinning robot. And given what we've seen from the very minimal pictures shown to us on the team's social media, maybe it's going to be a little bit like their other robot, Jetlag. In case you weren't aware, Jetlag is an exhibition-only heavyweight, also built by Russ Robotics, which has a unique gimmick in the fact it's powered by a proper jet engine. Sadly, Jetlag has been reduced to only exhibition outings at Destruct-A-Thon, but appears Hellfire very well could be a version safe for full combat in a Battlebots season. Though, personally, I feel like I'd rather just see what Jetlag could do inside a Battlebots season. We'll just have to see what happens with this anomaly of the robot. I wish it was Jetlag. I want to see that robot fight another machine so badly, but I am quite intrigued to see what Russ Robotics, a team that we've seen in the past with Final Verdict, can do in a 250-pound class setup. But that's going to wrap it up there. 5 bots up, 5 bots down. Some more in detail than others. I really am sorry we don't have too much info on Hellfire, but that is what it is right now. We started off and we ended hot with Fireball and Hellfire. It really is an exciting group of robots. I know some people are going to ask, why aren't we talking about Arachnophobia since it technically debuts on September 30th? Since it was already delayed once, it was supposed to be appearing in mid-September. I decided to hold off on it until the October video. We have less debuting robots in October, so, you know, gives us more content in that video. And it means you can expect it sooner. We'll have that October video out before the end of the month, since we got to get it out before September 30th when Arachnophobia debuts. But I digress. That's going to wrap it up here at the Combot Collective with a news video talking about some more Proving Grounds newcomers. We're also expecting Slammo versus Scorpius in the month on Proving Grounds. That should be a fun fight between fun teams. But that's our newcomers. So thank you so much for watching the Combot Collective. I am your host, as always, Sterling Brown, a.k.a. Sterling TXTG on social media, on Instagram. And talking about social media, you can find the Combot Collective on Facebook and Instagram in the description below if you want posts, updates, videos. We post all those sort of things there. We also have a Discord video, which has become a bit of a gathering point for Roboteers all around the world, from America to the UK to other spots, other countries. We also got some fans, some content creators there. Our videos get posted there first before anywhere else. Be sure to check it out. And then, of course, you're here on the YouTube page. If you like what you're seeing here about Battlebots Proving Grounds, please like the video, give us a comment, giving us your thoughts on the Battlebots Proving Grounds debutees this month. Maybe a little bit of constructive criticism too. And, of course, ring the bell icon and subscribe to the channel if you like what you're seeing here at the Combot Collective. We are on the road to 600 subscribers. I'm super stoked for it. We're getting pretty close here. We've gained some steam over the last month, but we'll just have to see what happens next for us. That's going to wrap up this September Proving Grounds preview video. If you want to see these fights, be sure to subscribe to Battlebots Supporter or Battlebots Patreon. That's where they're going to be. And if you want updates on these fights, be sure to watch upcoming episodes of Robot Combat tonight here at the Combot Collective. But we are out of here. See you next time.
This was the Combot Collective. Find us on Instagram and Discord.